Hi, I'm Tom Teicholz. Welcome to another Culture Mavens. I'm here with Rabbi Susan Nanus.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see you. I wish I could see you. Nice to see you, Tom, even if it's virtually. And
Yeah.
I'm seeing all of you in my imagination. I remember you all.
Well, I wanted to start this week by reminding you about the Holocaust Remembrance film series at the Los Angeles Museum of the Holocaust. The first film was The Garden of the Finzi Continis. The second film, the documentary Syndrome K. And then the following week, we'll be showing the film Life is Beautiful. And each Thursday at 5 p.m., I'll be doing a conversation about those films. If you register for the showings at the museum, they'll send you a link and you can watch either a few days before or a few days after, and you can have your friends all over the country watch. So that is great. And Susan, I know you had a reminder too.
Yes, our fourth and last film in our African-American film series, Through Their Eyes, will be John Lewis, Good Trouble, about, the great John Lewis, who just recently passed away. And Dr. Michael Renoff said to me, this is a very positive, uplifting film. We're going to go out on a high, on a note of hope. And so that should be, it's on Amazon Prime. And we'll be discussing that on Tuesday evening, August 25th at 7 p.m. We'll remind you again, but Good Trouble is a brand new film. So I'm looking forward to watching that myself. And then I wanted to talk about a play reading and a concert that, again, from Temple Emmanuel, our favorite go-to place. We're waiting for our sponsors. In the meanwhile, this is so fantastic, really, because everybody's watching them everywhere.
I think they're going to hire you as their publicist.
Actually, I have a plan to contact them and have them start watching Culture Mavens.
There you go. There you go.
We talk about them every week, and they should know. And then who knows where that can lead. Maybe we'll share some cultural events eventually once we get back to in-person things. But in the meantime, they're doing a play reading of a brand new play called Righteous on Monday, August 24th, which is a new play, based on a true story about a German industrialist who is very close to the high Nazi command and learns about the plan to annihilate the Jews and can't live with himself and actually tries to warn Franklin Roosevelt, who does not listen. But he is considered righteous among the nations, though no one has ever heard of him. And this is a new play called Righteous. And then on Monday, August 31st, at Temple Emmanuel Stryker Center, they're going to be doing a Irving Berlin concert. Both of these things are free. Blue Skies Over New York, an Irving Berlin concert. So if you want to hear great Irving Berlin music, which is still fantastic, 100 years later,
Yep.
What was his name? His Yiddish
Izzy
name?
Bylent.
Izzy Bylent.
Bylent.
Bylent. That will be on Monday, August 31st, 3:30 LA time. It's 6:30 New York time, but 3:30. You can go on their website, and that's what they're having.
So I've got a recommendation. I was tooling around on YouTube, and I came across an amazing concert I want to recommend. There is a band of Swedish singers, folk singers, called First Aid Kit. I'm sure they're played a lot on KCRW. And if you live in LA, you probably, and listen to music a lot, you probably are familiar with them. But in 2017, they did a memorial tribute concert to Leonard Cohen. And it is them and invited guests who are other Swedish performers who I had never heard of or seen. And their performances of Leonard Cohen's songs were incredibly beautiful and incredibly moving. And it was one of those things where I thought, oh, I'll just watch a bit. And then, an hour later, I was still glued watching it. So I highly recommend it. You can find it on YouTube for free. First Aid Kit, tribute to Leonard Cohen.
You know, you wouldn't think that Leonard Cohen, or you don't think he would be so popular in Scandinavian countries. So that's surprising. I guess he.
Well, listen, doom and gloom. You know, I think he had a Swedish soul in that way. But I also have two exhibits I wanted to mention.
Oh yeah.
One is an Israeli artist who lives in New York, whose name is Nir Hod. They're doing a exhibit of his here in Los Angeles at the Cohn Gallery, Kohn, and it's both a virtual exhibit which you can visit online, or you can go see the work by appointment. And it's a his work is very large and very haunting. The title of the exhibit is now, of course, I'm going to blank on it, but it's something like "I'm Not Here." It's about displacement and the displacement we're all feeling now, and the erasure we're all feeling now. And I found it very powerful work. The other thing is that I went to the website of the Kraft Contemporary Museum here in Los Angeles, which is across the street from LACMA. If you've ever been there, they're not a museum that has a collection, but they have exhibits and they promote craft as an art form. And they've been posting these really great videos that anyone of any age can watch to learn how to do ceramics, work with wood, do other crafts. And I thought it was a really great thing that many people who are looking to be busier could spend some time with.
My daughter is so talented at crafts, and she's an incredible knitter and crocheter, and I am the worst. I can't even knit a straight line. It's just not my thing, but I so admire it. You know, I wish I had that talent.
Well, this may be the time when nobody's watching you and you're doing it in the privacy, as they say, of your own home. I, for the first time in my life, baked banana bread. Yeah, just see if you can.
It's not so hard, I don't think. I think knitting is harder, but anyway, actually next week, maybe I'll show you one of the shawls she made me. They're so beautiful. So I want to just thank you, Tom, and remind people about Tom's recommendation of HighH Flicks, ChighFlicks, which is a streaming series of Jewish and Israeli films, and Jewish meaning from all over the world. I've been so enjoying the films that I've been watching. It's only $60 a year, $66 a year. It's really cheap, cheaper than Amazon for sure. And also to remind people that the Manhattan JCC, which is called the Marlene Meyerson JCC, has a huge film department. They have one person who's just devoted to films, and they have about 6 different film series. And you can go on there and look them up, but they're going to be screening one called The Passengers, which is a new film about Ethiopian Jews and Jews who are Ethiopians who are religious, and they have family in Israel, and they speak Hebrew, and they can't get a visa, or they can't get accepted into Israel. So it's kind of about, you know, a kind of racism against Jews of color. I think it's a positive ending, but that is going to be screened. You have to sign up from Friday, August 21st until August 28th if you want to see it. And then there's a discussion in that time that they'll let you about, but it's like going to the movies to see a new film. And I have found their films to be fantastic. Finally, since Tom last week recommended an author he really likes, Laurie Colwin, I want to tell you my favorite author. Yes, I love Daniel Silva, but he's a far second from the best and my favorite author, Isaac Bashevis Singer. And I don't know how many of you have ever read his books, but they are incredible. And I would call him the Jewish Tolstoy, the depth, the color, but his philosophies and his view, they're always full of sex and relationships and wrestling with God, but with demons and Dybbuk. Yentl was something he wrote, cross-dressing, things like that, but in the Hasidic world. And he won the Nobel Prize for Literature, the only writer to ever win, Jewish writer who wrote in Yiddish. And Tom, you want to share something with me?
Well, just that I at the beginning of my career, I was fortunate enough to interview him for Interview Magazine, and went to his home on West 86th Street. He was quite aged then and somewhat cantankerous and cranky, but I referred to him as the Yiddish Yoda because he was a little bit Yoda-like.
But wasn't he a womanizer like all the people in his books?
Far be it from me to gossip about the dead, but when I asked him about the fact that there's so much sex in his novels, his answer was, "Well, sex is part of life, isn't it?"
That's true. That's a big part of life in his books. If you're going to start reading him, I recommend you read some of his short stories first. He has multiple collections of short stories. And then his great novels were The Manor and the Estate.
But also Enemies, a Love Story is really great. And it was made into a really great movie. If you've never seen the movie Enemies, a Love Story, that's terrific. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the film of Yentl with Barbra Streisand. I can assure you that Isaac Singer's story was much grittier, and I think you will find it very interesting. His take on cross-dressing and a trans person in the Orthodox world.
In the Hasidic world, all of these stories, Enemies takes place in New York. It's post-Holocaust. But all of these stories, a lot of them take place in the Hasidic world, and it gives you an eye into the humanity and the depth and the richness and the complexity of that world. Even though he grew up there, but he left it. His father had his own court. He was a Rebbe.
Right.
So Isaac Bashevis Singer, that's our author for this week. Who knows what will be next week?
And good choice. Good choice.
Good choice. If any of you read any of his stuff and want to email us and tell us what you thought, we'd love to hear from you. So that's all for now. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We look forward to next week. And as Tom always says, enjoy culture.
Please. Take care. Bye.